Hello everyone, Gainer here from HDB Upgrading Strategies, and welcome back to my Facebook Live episode 2828. Right, so what am I going to share with you guys today? Right, first of all, I think I've been assisting a lot of HDB homeowners, HDB sellers to upgrade from their HDBs to their private properties, and I realized that one of the very common problem that a lot of HDB owners have is managing the timeline, the HDB selling timeline, and also the purchase of their private property, right? So this timeline and the financing is something that's really very critical. I think that's why I thought today it will be a very good opportunity for me to share with you guys on this. So today is my Facebook Live topic 28, and I'll be sharing on this topic. This will be HDB resale timeline and how it can affect your private property purchase. Right, once again, what am I going to share with you guys today? This is my Facebook Live topic 2828, and I'll be talking about this HDB resale timeline and how it can affect your private property purchase. Right? So once again, why this topic? Because I've been assisting many homeowners, HDB homeowners, with their upgrading of their HDBs to their private properties. And this particular topic is something that is really a big concern to many homeowners, because they probably have seen properties that they like, they want to buy, but they can't buy, right? Because they have not sold their HDB flat, right? And that's why the timeline, the time frame is important. So today I'll go a little bit more to the basic. I'll be sharing with you guys talking about this HDB resale timeline. And I'll also be talking about the private property purchase, little details about how you can, funds, have the money, when is it ready, and how you can use it to time the purchase of your private property effectively. Okay, so now without further ado, let me just share with you guys on this. It's a very simple topic today, but I think it will be very useful, right? So let me talk about this HDB resale timeline. Okay, so the very first thing that whenever a lot of HDB homeowners want to sell their properties, right, the very first thing they have to do is, of course, they have to first do their intent to sell, right? This is the intent to sell. So just bear in mind, after you have done the intent to sell, you have to wait for 7 days later, then you are able to issue your HDB option, right? Now, the critical part is this. The timeline we can gauge from the sale of your HDB flat, we can gauge. The only thing that we cannot gauge, or homeowners or HDB sellers cannot gauge, is this, the marketing portion, right? That is where the agent, me, or if you have get your friends, your agent, to help you to sell the property, right? The only thing that we cannot gauge, we can only give you an estimate, is the marketing of your property, right? So some people have difficulty selling the place, so it will take much longer. Some properties or some HDBs are easier to sell because it's at a very popular location, right? So it will be much faster. So this marketing of the property, probably, I think, if you want me to give you a gauge, can be, some properties, first viewing you will get it sold, right? The first week you'll get it sold. Some properties will take a little bit longer, so I think on average probably 1 to 3 months maybe, but it can be faster, it can be much longer, so it depends. So this is the marketing part of your property that we can't gauge, but we can give you an estimate based on the experience of your agent, right? So after, let's say, the marketing is done, you got a buyer. The very first thing is, of course, we will sign, the seller will grant the OTP, which grant the option to purchase to the buyer, right? Now from here, this portion onwards to the completion, this time frame is already quite fixed, very standard, right? So I just go through with you again, right? So once the OTP is granted from the seller to the buyer will have 21 days, right? I hope this is clear. I hope that the words are not too small. If you guys are watching, if the words are clear, probably just give me a thumbs up, Ken, so I think at least I know that it's good to go, right? So there will be 21 days for the HDB buyers to exercise the option. Now this is the cooling period, we call it cooling period. So the buyer can choose to exercise, the buyer can choose not to exercise. But let's say, a buyer choose to exercise, so 21 days is given. Now when they exercise, so this is the exercise, right? Exercise of the OTP. Now once you exercise, we will be given probably on the standard market practice 7 days. 7 days the buyer and the seller will have to submit the option to purchase to HDB, right? So for this instance, just treat it as 7 days, right? After we submit, there will be 10 days. What is this 10 days? This 10 days is for HDB to accept our case, to accept this transaction, right? So there will be a 10 days for HDB to accept this transaction. Once HDB accept this transaction, then it will be much easier already. It will be 8 weeks to completion from this date, right? From this date. So after that, it will be after this 8 weeks will be HDB completion. So just bear in mind for the HDB sellers, once upon completion, then you will receive your cash proceeds, right? You will receive your cash proceeds. Why I say this very clearly? Because if you are going to buy a HDB resale private property, or probably you want to buy a new launch, you need the initial down payment. So for HDB resale, you need a 1% and a 4%. This 4%, this is the option fee of a 1%. This 4% will be your exercise. You go to a law firm, you pay that 4% to exercise, right? But for new launch, it will be a straight 5% that you have to make the payment to a developer as a booking, right? So that's why this is important, right? This cash is important because you probably will need this amount of cash for this down payment, right? And also very important to take note is that after the completion of this HDB resale, you pay CPF, right? CPF, it will take around 14 days, right? Of course, we can ask, to hurry the HDB officer to help us to, put this CPF as soon into our ordinary account. But on average, it will be 14 days. Now, why this is important? Because a lot of people, probably they have bought the properties a little bit earlier, and they need this CPF funds to help them with the exercise or their stamp duty, stuff like that. So this is something really very important. So just take note, we still have a 14 days, right? And then we come down to this, right? This is the purchase for the private resale and the new launch. And we just have to take note that for private resale, we have to pay the first 1% down, and then 4% will be the exercise, which will in between be 14 days. So if you're buying a private resale, you pay the first 1%. You need to exercise this option within 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks to exercise, else your 1% will be forfeited. And then just take note that you have to pay another 20% if you are taking a 75% loan, right? A loan, right? So for the completion will be 6 to 8 to 12, or sorry, to 10 to 12, or even more, right? This will be dependent on the seller and you, right? The seller and you to negotiate when you want to have the when do you want to have the private property completion, right? For the new launch, very straightforward, 5%, then the completion will be 8 weeks, right? So this is the typical timeline. Now, so I realized a lot of HDB homeowners, when they want to upgrade to their private properties, they like to view a lot of places. They like to view their private resale, which I definitely understand, or they would like to view some new launches, because if they did not find something that they like, they probably won't sell their place, right? I think this is also one of a common typical mindset of a HDB upgrader, right? Just bear in mind this very important thing. Even if you have seen a property that you really love and you have not sold your flat, you also can't buy the place, right? Because you have not sold your place, and if you buy a place, if you go into an agreement for private resale, you need to exercise your option within 14 days. And if you have not sold your HDB flat, you will be subjected to this ABSD, right? Which is second property buyer stamp duty tax. So a lot of people will not do that. After they've seen the place, they like the place, but they cannot buy the place. So you're coming back to square one again, which you still have to sell your place, right? This is some of the important thing. I also want to touch on this thing called bridging loan. Right? This is a very how do I spell bridging? BRIDI, bridging loan. This is a very useful very useful method for me that I've been helping a lot of my HDB homeowners, right? what is this bridging loan? This bridging loan is for you to bridge this 20% down payment. Meaning to say, today you like this property, but you have not sold your place, right? So you take a while to sell your place. Now, the moment you sold your HDB, you have this OTP, right? Then you can go to the bank to ask that, coupled together with your bank loan, you can ask for this bridging loan. This bridging loan can help you to bridge this 20% down payment. Now, why you want to do that? Because if you really time it properly, right? If your completion is 8 weeks, if this private property completion is 8 weeks, and the moment you have this OTP, can you remember there's an 8 weeks completion? But how about this 21 days, this 7 days, this 10 days, and probably this 14 days, right? If you add up, right, probably 8 weeks is already 2 months, plus all this is 3 months, right? So meaning to say the 3 months time from the HDB sale, right, for the funds to come in for your exercise, for your completion may not be enough. So that's why you need this bridging loan to help you to finance this, but only if you have sold your place, as in you need to show a proof of this exercise OTP to the banker. Then they can couple this bridging loan together with your bank loan, which is a 75%. But just have to bear in mind that this bridging loan, the interest will be slightly more, which is probably I think 5 to 6%, depending on the banks, depending on the rate. This will be more, but this is in fact a very useful tool, because although you will think that 5 to 6%, I want to save this amount, because I do understand some clients, they also want to save this amount. But in fact, if you really calculate this amount, it's not a huge amount, because it's just 5 to 6% of this amount that you're going to breach, and it's per annum. So I don't know, it probably will be round up to maybe 2,000 to 3,000 depending on your purchase price, stuff like that. But it really is a lot of issues, a lot of problems for you, because else if you sold your place and then you buy a place, probably there's also a 3 months waiting time, and then you need to rent a place, stuff like that. So it can be quite uncomfortable. So this bridging loan tool is really, really very effective and very useful. So I always encourage my clients to use this, right? So with that, I think probably I've covered quite in detail about this HDB resale timeline, right? And also some of the common issues whereby you want to use the funds to buy the right private resale and the new launch. And also I use this, I also share with you this bridging loan, which is extremely useful for you guys, right? So with that, I think probably I hope that this video will be a useful video for you guys, right? If you have any questions about this timeline or the financing part for any issues on this, just let me know. You can just PM me, or probably you can just put in some comments inside this video post as well. Else, I hope you guys really love this video that I've done. If you guys can just give me more thumbs up, more likes, more comments, more love, stuff like that. With that, I really appreciate for you guys for viewing this video. And thanks a lot, and see you guys next week. Goodbye.